That's cute.
Do we look like the photos in there?
You look just like it. I knew which one you were right away.
Nailed it.
But Cameron really does look like his, though.
Yeah.
If you look at it, he looks just like it.
100%.
That's so fantastic.
You mean we know?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Do we have to read this?
No, wait.
You want to do it?
Oh, there's a script.
I'll let you do it.
Oh, thanks. Let's see. We were supposed to read the script. I didn't follow directions. I just went straight to
Why do
do
you
this
think I
over.
followed the
Okay, see, now I know. Now I know. Your team will have 20 minutes to present your social media strategy. We will give you a warning of holding up a finger at 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and 1 minute. When you are finished, we will ask you any questions. We will have a total of 5 minutes to answer both questions. The 5-minute time limit will begin after the first question is asked. You can confer with your partner privately before answering as well. And I think that's it. So, cool, right? We're ready to go?
Yep.
Okay.
Can I go for it?
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Daniel Sanders, and my favorite Sun King beer is Freedom Rock.
Hi, I'm Cam Richards. My favorite beer is the Wee Mac.
Hi, my name is Catherine Santos, and personally, I like them all.
When we first started building our strategy, we had debated for a long time what was the best Sun King beer. But we decided that Sun King's not just great taste and great beer. It's an experience that encompasses so much more. And today we're going to show you a social strategy that delivers.
So let's start with the problem. There's been some misperceptions about Sun King being a mass-produced beer company. The ask? To develop a social media strategy to help Sun King Brewery achieve their goal of becoming the beer brand of choice here in Indiana with a focus on millennials. So our task. We wanted to project the Sun King personality, reinforce the brand's image, solidify the brewery's commitment to premium craft beer through a new social media strategy. So we started with a social media audit. Here's what we found. You have consistent logo use across all platforms, consistent description, and you have a very consistent profile name on all accounts except for YouTube. You have excellent activity on your Facebook and your Instagram, but you have inconsistent activity on your YouTube and on your blog on your website. So something I want to point out here. On Twitter, you have over 69,000 followers, which we think is awesome. But on Instagram, it's important to note you only have 35,000 followers. This is important to remember for later on in the presentation. So with this continued, we compared you against your competitors here in Indiana, Three Floyds being the top and you with a close second. So with Instagram, we talked earlier about how you have 35,000 followers. Your biggest competitor, Three Floyds, has 91,000, which is almost 3 times as many as you. This is a significant gap that we want to help you address. We looked at what's working and what's not working. Your use of video, awesome. Your pictures, people love it. When you posted your 5 millionth can of beer with the tag on the bottom of the can, people loved it. They engaged with you. We looked at what wasn't working. Not a lot of strong engagement, not a lot of user-generated content, which people really want to relate with. Inconsistent hashtag use across all platforms, and then a lack of female-oriented content. So, you told us you want to become the craft beer brand of choice here in Indiana. We came up with an objective. Promote an authentic brand message that emphasizes brand engagement and community through an emotional connection with the customer. We have a tactical focus of 4 main areas: the customer, our community, the environment, and most importantly, our employees. Here's our strategic message: the craft that cares. The Craft That Cares provides a consistent theme that can carry across all platforms. It promotes the desired brand message. It creates and reinforces positive brand sentiment and recall.
So, let's get into the details of the campaign. Your current brand voice ties well with the corporate culture of commitment to workforce, the craft brewing industry, and the entire Sun King community. However, the brand persona, the Craft That Cares, will be relatable, authentic, as well as connecting to culture. We think you should continue to speak with this one brand voice across all platforms of social media. However, use our focus on community, customers, employees, and the environment to change the tone of voice based on the channel. So what does it mean to have one voice, but adjust the tone? Different platforms of social media often evoke different responses from their users. For example, Facebook. Facebook is a great place to create a sense of nostalgia and community with its users. It has the largest user base with a wide variety of ages, so the content must appear universal. The tone can be informal and accessible, which connects with millennials and baby boomers alike. A good example of a shared experience that creates a craft that cares moment could be a video or boomerang of filling a glass. Twitter is a great place to show the lighthearted and fun side of the brand. Speed and wit are king on this platform. The tone here can be slightly more daring and fun, maybe encourage the owners to add their own personal content. A good example could be a humorous story to show a candid side of the company. Now, Instagram. Instagram is hashtag friendly and a great place for user-generated content. It's very important to drive brand engagement on this channel. The tone should be positive and on message at all times. Some good content for Instagram is always boomerangs, contests, and giveaways. So, to build an effective social media strategy, we need to know your target audiences. So here we've identified two millennial audiences for your social media. The first, the younger millennial, maybe just graduating college, first or second professional job. They're interested in drinking craft beer for its more flavorful and premium taste over any standard brands. They spend most of their social media time on Twitter and Snapchat, always looking for exclusive offers. Now, the second target audience of the second millennial target audience we see that Sun King could really capitalize on are the ladies. Typically mid-30s and enjoying a higher income, they're interested in drinking craft beer for its more crisp, fruity flavors. They live on social media, especially Instagram and YouTube, often voicing their opinion on what's hot and what's not. So according to Nielsen in 2018, 31.5% of at least several times per year craft drinkers were female. This is a little more than a 2% increase in that number over 2015. The craft brewing industry as a whole has a growing opportunity to reach female consumers.
Let's talk about what we know about millennials. They're very diverse. They focus on social responsibility and the environment. They appreciate new trends and they appreciate a good experience. They value transparency from a company. They're cost conscious, so they really like free things. And they value peer recommendations.
Our strategy uses authentic messaging, emotional connections, captivating content, and community management to drive our tactical focus on our customers, where we will drive engagement, extend reach, and encourage visits. We found in our research that 15% of craft drinkers were more likely to go to a brewery, more likely to purchase at a brewery after visiting a brewery. So our social strategy encourages visits. In our social strategy, we also recommend social listening, monitoring the performance of our strategy ongoing to make any changes as needed. We also recommend Hootsuite in order to manage multiple platforms from Instagram to Twitter. We want to create captivating content with Adobe Creative Suite, so maybe add animations or interesting graphics in order to enhance the content, create an emotional connection, and make it authentic. And then we will have a tactical focus on our customers, where we will extend reach, especially with females, and encourage brewery visits. We'll also focus on the community. We know that Sun King does so much in the community, and we want to show what you're doing. Whether it's doing yoga or it's with something with Keep Indianapolis Beautiful. There's so many opportunities that we need to show our audience. Employees. We want to show how passionate employees are about the brand. So we can do this through Q&As, interviews, snapshots of employees at their jobs, behind the scenes. And then finally, the environment. We want to give back style strategy in which you can bring your beer cans in and have them recycled for a discount on future brews. Now into some channel specific tactics. On Facebook, we want to focus on community events, partnerships, and causes. Millennials are very focused on causes, and we are actively involved in many, and we need to highlight these. We'll create the Craft That Cares moments. A possible Craft That Care moment would be an employee spotlight of a female brewer. We know that Sun King has several female brewers, and not many other breweries have that. And so we need to show this off to get our audience engaged. Then on Instagram, we'll use hashtag the Craft That Cares in order to keep all of our posts in one area. We'll use Instagram specifically, as we mentioned, this is a key opportunity with Instagram stories. We'll continue to increase that female-oriented content, use animations and humor as well. And then on Twitter, we want to add Sunny the Sun King Twitter bot. And so a Twitter bot actively listens to our audience on Twitter, whether they're talking about beer or they're talking about Sun King. It will monitor what it hears, and it will respond in a witty and fun way. This is really great for our younger millennials. And then we want to focus on our supplemental channels such as YouTube with how-to videos, with food pairings, and maybe we can extend this strategy to the distillery as well. And on the blog, we want to do in-depth features, community partnerships as well, recycling, what we're doing. And then Snapchat, what's really great for our younger millennials is we can capture them with Snapchat posters. We can put these in our breweries and they will have the opportunity to connect with us on Snapchat as well. And then also the craft camp. For many millennials, this is an opportunity to see what it's like inside of Sun King before they visit. So they'll see how much fun is going on inside a local brewery, and then they'll want to engage and come in themselves. Then we also do search, and LinkedIn's a possible future addition to social media due to younger professionals being on LinkedIn. And here's, on Instagram, we want to add Instagram stories. So we want to do 24-hour photos and videos of content to engage with our audience. We can use these Instagram stories to build a more authentic message. We can use interactive poll stickers in order to ask our audience questions, have fun, and learn more about our audience as well, such as how much do you love beer? And hopefully everyone's sliding that all the way there. And then with the Instagram stories, we can build highlight covers, one for each of our focuses: customers, community, environment, and employees. And then we'll have that a more engaging profile because all millennials are on Instagram, and this will build more authenticity to our profile. And then we can also collaborate with community partners or influencers with takeovers, and there's also the opportunity to go live at our community partnerships we're doing as well to make people feel like they're really involved in the brand and they're there with them. Here's an example of tipping a glass to Sun King, a possible animation we could do on social media. Also, we can add boomerangs to Instagram in order to engage our audience as well. Fun ways of... Yes. Okay, and then we also have, as we mentioned earlier, Sunny the Sun King Twitter bot. And it's a really fun way to interact with Sun King. So if I were to type, who drinks Sun King beer, hashtag late night box, then Sunny the Sun King Twitter bot would respond, the short answer is everyone. Actually, we make delicious craft beer that can be enjoyed by anyone. Step into one of our locations to quaff a brew today. Speaking on measurement and management, we need a centralized best practices and decentralized execution. We need our employees involved. We need them to know the brand, know the core values, and to help curate content as well. And this will make a more authentic message and make it more impactful. And the most important thing with our social media practices, best practices, is to protect the brand.
Now, each social media strategy needs an effective social media policy and critical response plan. So the policy should be clear, minimizing risk and containing standards of conduct, disclosure requirements, standards for IP, and financials. We have some suggested templates in the back of our handout that you can see. Now, the critical response plan. First off, Hootsuite will monitor any keywords associated with your brand online and notify you when any negative words come up. Then you'll have pre-designated individuals that are authorized to communicate via social media. They will have pre-approved messages for these anticipated negative events. Then you'll follow the action plan that we've outlined in our decision flowchart that's also in the back of your handout. You can see in further detail. And the most important step, responding swiftly and effectively.
And finally, with measurement, we want to look into activity measures and interaction measures. We can do this through Instagram analytics and Facebook analytics. And then we want to look into performance measures as well, in which we will use Hootsuite and Salesforce Social Studio. More of our metrics can be found in your handout provided. The Craft That Cares is meant to deliver, and we have several expected outcomes from this strategy, such as an increase in follower count on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, with Instagram being the highest increase in followers. We'll also monitor the performance of our hashtag and see how it is performing consistently and make changes as needed. Also, we'll look into unique website visits and increasing brewery visits as well. And overall, we are projected a sales growth of 2% with the Craft That Cares. So after this whole project and coming together and trying to decide what the best beer was, we all can agree that Sun King is more than great beer, more than great taste, and it really involves everyone, from customers to the community, to the environment, and to the employees. And we believe the Craft That Cares will deliver on a social media strategy that will improve the brand. Thank you. Marian
Marian, thank
University.
you, Marian. I forgot to ask you that in the beginning.
So the expected outcomes that you guys listed, how did you guys get to those numbers? And yeah, like I guess how do you guys see
Okay.
this happening?
So
from that
when we
hashtag?
first started this strategy and got our task, we
Mhm.
looked at how they were currently performing with follower count
Mhm.
on your accounts. And so on Instagram specifically, I believe you gained 2,000 followers in maybe it was 2 months. So that was organic growth. And we believe that we can increase that organic growth with our new strategy as well. So we think that we can increase in a 12-month period. Following that with organic and with our new strategy,
Mhm.
it will increase higher.
Okay.
How do followers help you if organic is not working on social media right now? Because I think it's been proven that it's not. So how do you plan to get these followers to see your posts?
I'll take that. I think it is working for them, but it's the same customers coming back in. I feel like they're doing a really good job at grabbing people's attention, but it's just the same people. So we're kind of going a different route and tying in the emotional connection with a whole different set of people, especially women that are millennials. Right, like we went to visit the brewery and we sat there for a couple hours and just took notes, and we asked some of the customers that were in there. A lot of them had been in there multiple times. They usually go in and drink the same beer, or sometimes they try something different if it's referred to by an employee. So we think we're trying to go an entirely different route, trying to grab more people from different areas, especially the young millennial women.
I didn't see anything about paid, so how will you grab new people?
I think I'm confused on what you're asking.
Well, I appreciate that you want to increase follower count, and you
Yeah.
even yourself just mentioned the same people keep engaging with their content,
Right.
because those are probably the only people that are seeing it, because that's how
Right.
algorithms work. How will you get new people to engage with content without a paid strategy? Because that's one thing I did not see you
Right.
address.
So we assume that with this hashtag, sometimes it comes up on the search feed, especially on Instagram. So when you go onto Instagram, you'll look at what all your if you follow someone, you'll look at what they're doing. But also on the search feed, if some of your friends are doing the same things or posting the same things or using the same hashtag, it'll come up in that feed because it's showing that you have the same interests. So we're hoping that it ties in more followers from that page, especially.
So I'm the HR director and I do a lot of hiring. Which platform or platforms would you recommend for a hiring strategy, or maybe even just saying like, hey, we are looking for jobs? Since it sounds like each platform has its own strength.
I would say with the millennial audience, Instagram is the best platform. I've worked at several different internships in which we implemented Instagram as one of our strategies for recruiting and retaining members, and it's a great way of, it's more authentic. You feel and engaged with people because they post pictures of people enjoying their job, passionate about their job, and more people in the millennial audience are visual and they want to feel that emotional connection with someone at their job, experiencing it and enjoying it.
So I would love for you guys to expand a little bit more on why you think that we should use Snapchat, because it's something that we've not really explored, especially with it being alcohol. It's a hard thing to regulate, especially with followers on Snapchat.
Yes. Sure. So what we want to go big on is the craft cam, and we really like that for the Snapchat area because normally we're millennials, or Gen Z, almost millennials. So when we're on Snapchat, we're scrolling through, we're seeing what our friends are doing, and whenever we see our friends out somewhere, we call it FOMO. So like our friends are doing something and we're not, so why don't we go do what they're doing? So we figure if we can do the live brewery film, like you'll be able to see it while you're sitting on your couch and say, wow, there's all these people there, they look like they're having a blast. Why don't I go in and see what they're doing and grab a drink with them and hang out? So it kind of it brings more people together because they can see what's going on. Plus you can also engage with people if they tag your name on it. So like if they go to the brewery and if they're happy or upset, they might tag your name on it. You'll be able to see what they're seeing.
and people in the millennial audience always want to show off what they're doing too. So it's, I'm drinking this today, I'm going to share with my friends on Snapchat, social media, and then people are more inclined to be wanting to be with, to do the same.
Were you all familiar with Sun King before this presentation? And what were your general opinions, I think, before versus after?
So my first experience with Sun King was the new distillery.
Okay.
So that was my first experience. It was really cool. Brand new building. Had the Sunlight Cream Ale, very good. So that was my experience with it. But I learned a lot more throughout strategy, research, everything.
I knew them from all their community outreach.
Okay.
It's one of the very few companies that actually care about everyone, so they make an effort to give back to a lot of different people. And we're on the cycling team at Marion, and you guys donate
Yep.
a lot to the velodrome. So I knew about Sun King through that, and then my dad drinks.
Yeah, so I actually just recently came over as an international student from New Zealand.
Okay.
So I had never heard of Sun King, obviously, but the first experience I had with them was all the work they did with the velodrome because I got drafted into the cycling team.
Okay.
And so it was just awesome to see how much they were donating and helping to the cycling team and supporting our velodrome. We have our signs up, we have their signs up at our velodrome and everything. And
Yeah.
that was the first thing I saw was just their community outreach, really.
Uh-huh.
We do,
Okay.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Is there other questions?
Just to add on to what you said,
Mhm.
I think the biggest impact Sun King makes in the community, it comes full circle. So I think a lot of people want to purchase beer from Sun King because they know that Sun King cares. I think that's what's been working really well for them.
Mm-hmm.
I love your craft that
Mhm.
cares
I love
because
that too.
that is.
That's great.
I think we're both right. We like to mention the developer. I think you know Sun King as a beer, but we were talking earlier. You know them as a community member.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I think there's an opportunity with more paid
Yeah.
to get attention. Because you think about it when you're in front of it, you think about it when you see
Yeah.
it, and to extend your Snapchat example, you really think about it more if it's in front of you. And then the authenticity and transparency and all the other things that you mentioned, I think show through more with live
Right.
videos. And you hit on some things, and I would have liked to have seen you taking them out of the Instagram, which I know that's the world you live in, but other people live in a world where you can do that on Facebook. You can
Right.
create a group.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of that. So you were there, just maybe like stretch that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is, it fits.
There's,
I mean,
yeah, and
it
that's,
feels
this,
like,
it's a huge opportunity, using this hashtag would be a very huge opportunity for us because we are very socially engaged
Yeah.
in the community. We oftentimes don't talk about it enough. We're really bad about bragging about ourselves. And that's one of the things that we struggle with.
but I think that's why we love you. No offense, but I feel it, right? I mean, and if you have people that are willing to do it for you,
Yeah.
just give them a voice, and this is really.
And it's, right now, just so that you guys know, it's me. I'm a
She does
one-person
all of
team.
it.
I do all of it. So this is going to be huge for me to take back to our co-founders and explain things to them on some of the, you're helping my fight already
Yeah.
by providing me with these things.
Yeah,
So, and
for sure.
the paid posts and the organic and versus, yeah, and hitting your top, hitting you guys as a market as well.
Well, and I guess my other thing, kind of going along, but Beth has mentioned some of this stuff, like when, coming up in meetings or whatever, and the female demographic thing that you guys mentioned earlier, I guess, because our struggle is there's only about maybe 10 women that work at Sun King full-time and over with like 60 employees, so the rest of them are guys. But I think our concern is always we don't want to seem like we're pandering because like we don't want to be pandered to with fruity beers and pink shirts and the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I guess like how do you guys see that? How do you see doing that without pandering to the female audience? I guess did that come up in any of your research or conversations when you guys were talking about it?
So,
Because I do think it's super important and you've hit on something, but it's like how do you implement it?
well, with the fruity beer thing,
Yes.
that's all research that we found.
Yeah.
That's Nielsen reporting everything. And then we asked around. We kind of
Yeah.
did a focus group where we asked people,
For
what
sure.
do you like? People really like the bright colors on the cans, and
Yeah.
women especially like the fruity beers.
Yeah.
But No, I mean, it's just got to be an equal as opposed to two different. So like when
Right.
you do the male brewmaker and you show what he's doing, don't make it that much different from the women's side, but show she's there. She's doing the same thing. She's just as capable as the guy doing it. You
For
know,
sure.
like make it an equal, but let her stand out in her own way, because women can stand out all on their own without. You know, so just make it different in some way, but not too much.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of time.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. This was great.
I have a that is not mine.
We'll have to set up a bit.
Yeah. I can, yeah. I can.
While she's doing
Oh, I have it. What's that?
Yeah, that's your clicker. What are you trying to look at?
This is.
Oh,
This was-
oh,
This is the clicker.
Yeah, it's that one.
Sorry.
Oh,
we
I
already
thought-
had it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like,
realize I was
it's the
hiding it.
same one,
It's
so
on
I'm
me.
so confused.
That's my
I'm
bad.
There we go. Okay.
So, me.
We have this one. I'm just so good. Again,
Emily. Thank you.
Hi.
Maya.
Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hi, Erin.
Maya.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Erin.
Hi, Maya.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Hi. Okay.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay. Your
All right.
team will have up to 20 minutes to present your social media marketing strategy. We will give you a warning by holding up a finger at 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and 1 minute. When you are finished, we will ask you any questions. You will have a total of 5 minutes to answer any questions. The 5-minute time limit will begin after the first question has been asked. You can confer with your partner privately before answering.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So we are Maya and Alexa, and this is the Sun King story.
Vibrant, delicious, unique, brewed at home. That's Sun King. You guys know that. We know that. And as Maya's going to pass out, we actually conducted a survey because we wanted to know what other people thought about Sun King. And it turns out they think the very same things. At the top of that page, there's some words that they use themselves to describe Sun King. And the main difference between Sun King and other big beer companies, it's simple. It's love.
So any company can create a product, but a product is all it is. Sun King, on the other hand, creates a product that tells a story. It tells a story, each individual craft beer, through the love of their community, the love of Indiana, and of course, good tasting drinks. So we would like to talk about how Sun King compares, what their strengths are and their weaknesses. So Sun King as a craft beer is traditionally made, and they have an emphasis on their employees and their externalities of the company. They show that they care about not just the quality of their drinks, but also the community in which they interact. You can see this through their website, through their various social media channels where they post that they're doing yoga, that they're sponsoring a local event, and as well as just their personality.
This can be compared to commodity beers, which are just mass-produced beer companies. And rather than, they focus more on their image and simply their image, getting it out there. They want everyone to see it. And we know that Sun King wants to focus more on the people and the story behind the beer. So an online brand and persona and voice. So who is the typical consumer? And how do we target those people? How do we target the millennials?
Millennials.
We're good.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Us. We want to use graphics that are vibrant and bold. We want to be consistent with Sun King colors, so it's all together, but we want to make those pop and make them catch their eye so they want to see what's going on. We also want to use language that's casual and adults. Your consumers are adults. It's okay to say, this is a hell of a good beer. And we want to be able to use that casual and adult language, respectively, of course. We also want to use social media channels that span the breadth of demographics. So different social media channels reach different demographics of people, and we want to be able to use all of those things to reach all of your consumers.
So who are your consumers? Alexa and I may be 18 and can't drink your beer quite yet, but we have mentors and we have friends who are older that have given us some insight, so that we created Sophia, Carlos, and Josh. Sophia is 28 years old. She's a young professional in communications. She lives in Bloomington, Indiana, and she is an avid 5 a.m. hot yoga believer. Then we have Carlos. He's a recent college grad who bikes to work in downtown Indy. He's vegan and also body art enthusiast. And then we have Josh, because we can't forget that while we are trying to target millennials, we still have this great demographic that already loves Sun King. So Josh is 36 years old, he's a hedge fund manager, married with 2 kids, and he wouldn't be caught drinking anything other than IPAs. So the objectives. Sun King needs to tell a story, and that story is of love, as we said. For this reason, we've created 4 goals. These are to elevate, engage, enhance, and expand. We would like to see Sun King elevate their brand persona, because when you're buying Sun King beer, you aren't just buying beer, you're buying the community and the image that go along with it. We would like to see Sun King engage with the community. This means making people want to interact with your posts, not just view them passively. We'd like to see Sun King enhance the customer experience by utilizing these social media channels to provide real-time comments and feedback. And then lastly, these all go into the expansion of sales. This means having the people in Indiana and the people who already drink Sun King beer buy more, but it also means expanding to other markets and the markets that are coming as well.
So we came up with a few campaigns that we feel Sun King can use to truly amplify these ideas. The first thing is a video series campaign, #ShareYourSunKing_story. Sun King has a story and we really want to tell it. So all the people that go into the success of Sun King, we want to tell their stories individually. There's starting from the people who grow the grains, the people who make those grains into beer, the people who sell your beer, and just the consumers who drink it. So we want to make 1 to 2 minute videos in length and create videos showing their side of the story and how they impact Sun King and how they can share their love to everyone else. These videos would be implemented in all social media channels, so Instagram, Facebook, Twitter would show those 1 to 2 minute clips, and then we'd have links to the YouTube channel so they could see the whole campaign all together. So we actually created a little example for you guys to see, and so we're going to bring that up right now.
Is the audio working? Okay.
I love Sun King beer.
I love Sun King beer.
I love Sun King beer. I love Sun King because it was right in my neighborhood growing up, and I would pass it every day on the way to school. And whenever my family had neighborhood grill-outs, we'd always have that delicious Sun King in our backyard, right next to the grill.
Because we met at the brewery in Indianapolis.
It was love at first Sun King. Because there was one time I was climbing a mountain out in LA, and the only thing I took with me was one Sun King beer. I'd never had one before. And we got to the top of the mountain looking at the sunset, and that beer was incredible.
I love this song.
So this is the story we want to tell. Now this is just one side of it. This is the consumer side. These are all your millennial, oh my goodness gracious, millennials that are sharing their story, but this can go many different ways. We can show your employees' stories, we can show, every step in between and what they want to share. This was where the video was supposed to be.
Okay.
Slide.
So next we have the local community campaigns. So Sun King is very active in the community, and while these campaigns will be different, they will all share the similar hashtag Sun King Shares, to showcase that community involvement.
So the first thing is Sun King art. First Fridays is a huge part of Indiana, Bloomington, Indianapolis, Muncie, and we really want Sun King to be a part of that. So we want to sponsor local artists to create Sun King art. This art would be made literally out of the cans, the bottles, the products, the boxes from Sun King to be made into beautiful sculptures, things to be put into the galleries of First Fridays, and then rotated into the establishments of Sun King themselves. We think this is a great way to pull people in to find out about Sun King. For us, we come from a school that does co-op systems, and we go all over the place, including Indiana. And if I'm coming into a new place and I see that they have this First Fridays event, this is a great way to meet people and I want to see what's going on. And I can then learn about Sun King and your brewery and your company.
Next, we would like to see Sun King partner with businesses and events. Of course, Sun King already does this. As you can see in the survey, people have found out about Sun King through baseball games, 5K races, pretty much anything, you name it. But to avoid looking like a commodity beer brand, we would like to see Sun King engage with brands that have a similar image and a similar brand. So for example, we have North Mass Boulder. This is a rock climbing gym set to open up downtown Indy in 2019 that also, while you're done rock climbing, you can go and socialize and have a beer and have a drink with friends in the same area. So this is great because if Sun King were to sponsor with North Mass Boulder, they'd be able to target that hipster young demographic that we know we're trying to target. Next, we have different markets, such as the City Market and the Woodruff Place Flea Market. The City Market, specifically in the summer, has a nice patio area, and every week they host pop-up events, pop-up libraries, pop-up mini golf games, pretty much anything. So if Sun King were to sponsor one or two of these events, they would be showing those people who are already engaged in the community that Sun King also is engaged in the community, and they would want to connect with the brand more that way.
Our next campaign is a photo campaign. Where do you, Sun King? We want to see where, we know that Sun King is a great part of Indiana, but we want to see how far this can go. So everyone in Indiana has their love for Sun King, but they want to take that with them on, say, a vacation or a getaway. So say someone, such as the person from the video, he lives in Indiana and he goes to a mountain in LA to climb. He brings that Sun King with him, he goes to the top, he drinks that beer, he takes a picture, it's amazing. He puts that picture on social media and tags Sun King, and he also uses the hashtag #WhereDoYouSunKing. And he also has his location, which is in LA or wherever else you may be. This is a great way to tie in every other place you can go, encourage other people to see you, see where you can go, and follow you that way. And Sun King can also feature these people each week on your social media platforms to show this as well and encourage other people to do the same thing.
So next we have YouTube. YouTube is a great place to take these videos, these interactive elements, and aggregate them into playlists. First we have a farm to table playlist. Everyone has increasingly become more concerned with what is going into their product and who is making it. They love to see that transparency. So with this farm to table playlist, we would have videos that show the behind the scenes process of Sun King. From growing the grains to placing the product on your shelves, your product has a story, we want to tell it. Next, we have what's been going on at Sun King. For lack of better words, this playlist is to directly inform consumers about what's been going on at Sun King. These videos would be a montage of events that Sun King has been at, new products that they've launched, even a message from Sun King itself. So then the consumers can see that personality and have a direct conversation with the brand. Then, once again, we have the Share Your Sun King story. This is just the place to take all those narratives, put them in the chapter of the Sun King story.
So the website and the blog is one of the first things that people are going to see when they search Sun King. And we took a look at your website, we took a look to your blog, and we really just have some goals to help improve those things and make it more cohesive. The first thing would be to improve the blog layout to enhance customer experience and make them feel more welcome. And also connect consumers with the company. We want to help them tell that story, use content to tell that Sun King story, make them feel welcome and part of Sun King itself.
So we focused on a couple techniques. First is the website content. Your website is great, it tells what the product is, but it doesn't really delve into much more. We recommend that you add a home screen so that has the Sun King brand on it, it has the product, what you're buying, but then you also add two tabs, an Our Story and an Our People tab. We want to know where Sun King come from, how it came about, and we also want to know who is a part of it. Then we have some recommendations for your blog. Here we have a before. This is your current, most recent blog post. It's from February, so it's a little outdated. And the graphics also don't really necessarily match the Sun King brand that people know and love. This is a rendition of what could be the blog. As you can see, there's a modern font. There are nice, vibrant graphics. And then we also have a table of contents so that people don't have to search for, let's say, a recipe. They can just click on recipes and it'll take you right there. In addition, we suggest that you add content that what's been going on at Sun King posts. So that would be the written version of the videos, kind of like a letter from the editor type of thing.
So Facebook. Facebook is a great tool in looking at Sun King. It's one of the biggest things that you guys use and most successful to reach out to people. It's great to reach out to the right demographic, and currently that's an older generation. And we really want to use Facebook to start to share your other social media pages to make those grow and get bigger. Do you want to do the survey?
So now we have Twitter. So as you can see on the survey, Most people follow Facebook, and the people that we surveyed don't follow your Twitter. This is either because they don't know about it or because they don't want to. Well, an easy way to combat this is to make them want to follow you. So we have some suggestions to retweet, share, like, and comment on consumer posts. This means if someone mentions you, you would just like it, and then it leaves them feeling, wow, Sun King actually cared enough to like my post. We also recommend that you include your own content to show personality. So with this, it means not everything has to be promotional. A simple happy Monday, let's get this bread and beer will suffice. And then we also suggest that you provide real-time answers and feedback because Twitter is a very great instant place. Millennials are always on their phones. We pretty much don't leave the house without them, so what better place than online?
And one of the hardest things for any social media really is how do you get that first like? How do you get that first follow of people so they can see your stuff? And one of the things that we came up with was just little contests and giveaways that you can do. Small things, one example would be like a Trivia Tuesday. Every Tuesday you make a tweet, making a question. This can be anything. This can be about your company, your newest beer, an employee you talked about before, or just something in the community. And then they respond to that and they like it and they share it and it gets bigger and bigger and starts this conversation. Another great way to do this is say, here's this post. If you like it, if you like our page, if you comment, if you share it, then you might win something. Here's this little contest. It might just be a sticker, it might be a t-shirt, it could be a beer, it could be into your next event. It could be as big as you want to make it or it could be as little as you want to make it, but people are going to be excited to win something.
So next we have my personal favorite, and honestly a lot of millennials and Gen Zers love Instagram as well. So for this mock Instagram, we took old photos from your Instagram page, and then we also took graphics that we found on Pinterest and Google, and we put them together. As you can see, this is vibrant. It has like artistic photos so that people like to look at it. And it also engages people because not all of the posts are promotional. We recommend that about 25% of your posts are non-promotional. As you can see, there's a choose happy. It doesn't say Sun King, but it still gives Sun King a personality and a brand. We also recommend using Instagram stories to engage with people. This means going live, having polls, questions, whatever it is. People like to share their opinions. And then Instagram stories, you can also create highlights on your bio. These can show your values such as out and about, blog, you can have links. It basically makes it so that it's organized and consumers don't have to search for your information.
So with all of this going on, you're going to need a way and a system to control it all, keep it consistent, but keep it unique. We came up with some social media rules and responsibilities, a small team, in order to keep everything together. The first would be a social media manager. This person would oversee everything. All the posts would have to be approved that way. Next would be the content creator, which is exactly what it sounds. They're creating the content, the meat of your post to put it out there. The videographer and the photographer, those are the people going out to your events, capturing those stories that you want to tell. And finally, the social media marketing intern. This is something you suggest. This could be a college student, someone great in the community that really has some great ideas. They're going to help you when they need, and potentially an aspiring marketing major themselves.
Next, we have the social media policy. It may not be as fun, but it's still necessary. So for etiquette and engagement, like we said, millennials and younger generations are always on their phones. This means that Sun King also has to always keep track of what's going on. So that means responding to all comments at least within 24 hours, liking and sharing posts that mention Sun King, refrain from using overly profane language, but like we said, a bit is still fine. Saying that's a hell of a good beer is totally okay. And then we also have to clarify some potential legal risks, credit outside content that isn't our own, define what confidentiality means, only share appropriate content, so don't discuss anything that could be controversial, and then once again refrain from discussing negative sentiments.
So we came up with a critical response plan because ultimately things are going to happen, issues are going to arise. The first thing would be to monitor sites for trolling and negative comments. From there, you want to create pre-approved messages for a variety of scenarios. These scenarios may be good, may be bad, but either way you want to respond. People want to see that Sun King has a voice and it cares and you can answer to those things. When instant action is needed, you would go to that social media manager because ultimately they're the one making the decisions. Then you want to issue statements no later than 2 hours after a problem is brought to attention. If something happens and you need to respond, you don't want to let things boil over and get worse than they need to be. And then finally, hold a post-crisis review session to learn and improve. Again, whether the situation was good, whether it was bad, you want to learn from it and improve to make the next situation even easier to handle.
So we are back to those 4 main objectives and goals, and how do we measure the success of them? Well, we see that we elevated the brand persona by the page shares gained, the followers added as well. We see if people engaged with the community by seeing how many people liked and retweeted and commented on your posts and photos. We see if the customer experience was enhanced by conducting surveys and also by seeing how many positive comments there are on the pages. And then we expand the sales through whether the sales grew both within Indiana, outside Indiana, and within the demographic of the older generation who's been drinking beer and the younger one who is just starting to drink beer. And all of these things can be measured through different social media sites or different applications such as Hootsuite or Zoho. There are a variety of options to use.
Thank you.
So the survey that you guys did,
Yes.
who were you asking questions, like who's this audience that you guys were asking about Sun King and all that?
So I created this survey and then I sent it to my dad. We live in Indianapolis and he's very active. He has a large salsa group friend. So he just sent it out to them, and that's where we conducted the information from.
And how many people was it?
It was only 30,
Okay.
so we suggest that Sun King can conduct their own survey.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And out of those people, what was the age range as well?
The age range was from about like 22 years old all the way to 70, my grandparents. Yeah.
You mentioned things like Trivia Tuesday and some giveaways and those types of things. Didn't really address how to collect new users. Due to algorithms, organic just is probably not going to capture a good majority of people that maybe the brand is trying to capture. And you mentioned paid, but then you didn't elaborate. Do you have thoughts on
So you're
where that's
asking,
best utilized?
like, how to get more followers?
So I think, like you gave, the hashtag is great. The Trivia Tuesdays, all of those things are great. The only accounts that are going to see those are the ones that currently engage the most with your brand.
Yes.
So you're really just like hanging out with your friends already.
Yeah.
How do you go make new friends? How do you bring in new people? And I don't know that organic works for that anymore. So do you have, and you mentioned paid, but you didn't really elaborate. Do you have thoughts on where that would best be utilized? Like, would you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are 2 different ways that we could do this. So on Instagram, you can create a business page, which Sun King would be, and then you can pay to have your posts boosted and promoted. This way, even if I don't follow a brand, I still see their posts and I can still see like what they're asking me to do, and I'm like, oh hey, a contest. And then the second way is that especially through the Where Do You Sun King, that means that, let's say, if I could drink beer, I would go to Arizona and I went hiking, I took it with me, I would take a picture of Sun King beer, and then even if my followers don't know about Sun King, they'll see it in the picture and they'll see the hashtag and then they can interact with it as well.
So do you have a plan for people that do that but don't use the hashtag? Because I think a lot of times the only people that care about the hashtag are the people that made it. But I think there are ways to cultivate user-generated content. But do you have thoughts about that?
Yeah, so increasingly millennials want to be in those hashtags. I know whenever I go to an event, I want to do that hashtag because I want to feel like I'm a part of a larger community. And so I think the hashtag is a great way. Do you have?
Another thing is, if you, as Sun King, uses those hashtags and people that post it and then features them each week on your page, it's going to encourage more people to use it because you're seeing that, wow, I was featured on all their social media pages, and they tagged me in it, and now all my friends saw that. Like, that's really cool, and it might encourage everyone else to then use the hashtag to then be featured.
So to your point, would you reuse that user-generated content more than weekly? Because that is one of your bullet points in there.
Yeah. So it would be a weekly thing. So with a content calendar, you could design where and when you want to do these posts. So it could be something as every Saturday you compile all the posts from the past week where the hashtag was used. You pick 1 or 2, and then that's where you would feature it.
And I wrote it down, and now I'm like, I don't know why I started this down. Oh no, I do. Okay. So we currently work with City Market, where we actually have branding that's actually outside. We sponsor their stage. I know that you guys mentioned doing more things with more folks, but they're a partnership that we've had for a very long time. It concerns me that you mentioned City Market and we have that branding outside and you guys didn't mention it at all. So, in my brain, what else should we be doing, because we already have a placement there. What are we doing wrong to not get you guys, like you didn't mention it?
Yeah. So I would say, yeah, the stage is great. However, it's also not a very interactive element. You go and you watch it. However, if it were to be, like, I know I take, I'm a summer gym TA and I take my students, and sometimes there will be like different mini golf games or different, I don't know, just different like outside games, like, what's it called?
Cornhole.
Cornhole. Yeah, so if something were to even have like games and then they had their brand on that, that would be a great way for people to see it.
Just sponsoring some more little events, nothing crazy,
Yeah.
to get more people involved
That are
and walking up
interactive.
to you and starting that conversation with you guys.
Because that way, then you wouldn't have to tell people who you are. You wouldn't have to necessarily post on your social media, but other people who are playing the events and who are posting it will post it, and they will do all of that work for you.
We're out of time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Your team will have up to 20 minutes to present a social media marketing strategy. We will give you a warning by holding up the finger at 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and 1 minute. When you are finished, we will ask you any questions. You will have a total of 5 minutes to answer those questions. The 5-minute time limit will begin after the first question has been asked. You can confer with your partners privately before answering.
Go ahead.
All right, well, good afternoon. We want to take this time to thank you very much for having us in this position and giving us this opportunity to tell you about Sun King. We are from Western Michigan University, and we're going to be telling you about our social media revamp with a twist on Sun King, and my name is Andrew.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Jeff,
And I'm Becca.
and let's get into it.
All right, so I'm going to start you guys off with our agenda. So first, we're going to look at a social media analysis. We're then going to talk about brand voice, content mix, marketing opportunities, and finally, a plan of action for Sun King. Oh, I went too far. Okay, so this is our overall plan for Sun King success. So our main two goals are unique community and brand image. And beneath those goals, we have two sub-goals. So for brand image, we have hero, hub, and help, and critical response plan. And for unique community, we have influencer marketing and Mama's Day. Now don't worry if you don't understand those, we'll get to that later in the PowerPoint. All right, so let's talk social media strengths of Sun King first. So they are really active on all their social medias right now, which is great. They actively promote a lot of their events. A lot of stuff that they post has a lot of different media, videos, pictures, and whatnot. They generate a lot of great Yelp and Facebook reviews. They attract a lot of visitors from the Indianapolis area and beyond. They follow a lot of the popular trends, and they're great with community building. They showcase their employees, and they use hashtags, which is awesome. Now, weaknesses. So, I know this slide looks like a lot, but I'm going to break it down for you guys. So, basically, we did a full-scale social media audit of Sun King. And what we found was that all of the bios or mission statements for all the social medias were very different. You can see that they're visually different, but beyond that, when you delve into the meaning, they don't convey one voice, one identity of Sun King. And that's something that we think is really important. Besides that, the current employee engagement and consumer engagement does not do as well as it should. The content mix could use help. And then something we wanted to point out was that Three Floyds does really well in promoting their events. And we think that that is something that Sun King could do a lot better on.
Awesome. Thank you, Caitlin. So we're going to be talking a little bit now, switching gears about those strengths that we just talked about. What do we see here? We see 2 screenshots of 2 Yelp posts, 2 reviews of Sun King. And what do these have in common? They showcase all the strengths that we've been talking about throughout this entire presentation so far. And those are the community, the involvement within Indianapolis, and then also the great beer, the great community, the great environment that Sun King offers to those around them. And this is two of very many, and something that we're going to be using these strengths to promote some of the releases that we're going to be having throughout the rest of this presentation.
So now that we know what customers think of Sun King, we want to know who are those customers, who's our target demographic. So we wanted to use research to come up with these personas based off of actual data. So we looked at Facebook. We looked at the 37,900 followers that they have currently, and we saw some commonalities. So these people are college graduates, married, higher income, maybe they're interested in traveling, photography, or pets. Also, we found a key finding, which was 64.7% of women who reported being interested in Sun King also reported being interested in yoga. So that's going to come into play later in our presentation. We saw that they also had a healthy mix of male to female on Facebook, 52%, so slightly more women, and 48% male.
So one of Sun King's biggest weaknesses was that brand voice. We want to unify that brand voice.
Alright, so I'm going to talk to you about optimizing Sun King's brand mission. So a few slides back when I showed you all those biographies or descriptions of the social medias and how different they were, right? So now we have come up with an example of how they could maybe change their brand voice and push that through all the social media channels to really unite them and sound like they're coming from one company. So the current statement on the website is, Sun King Brewing strives for excellence from our beer and our people. An example of one that we came up with was, Sun King Brewing achieves excellence by connecting with our beer community through social engagement, Indianapolis pride, and superior craft brews.
So now that we have a new voice, we want to be able to address our customers. We want to look at the comments and be able to comment back and engage. So we came up with a unified approach through this flowchart that you can take a look at, and I'm going to go into more detail about that right now. So, positive feedback. They love Sun King. We had such a great time. I'm going to give you a shout out on Twitter. We want Sun King to address that as soon as possible. So, thank them, but also personalize the message. Say, our bartender, Steven, really loved that you came in and he's willing to, give you a deal or something like that. So we want you to add content and value. So unfortunately, I'm sure Sun King gets some negative feedback. I know, hard to imagine, but if the service is bad or there's a reasonable request, you have to address that right away. So addressing that within the first 2 hours is really critical. We want you to address it publicly and tell them that we're sorry for any inconvenience, and then take action, tell them how you're going to take action in a direct private message to them. So dedicate every time, every day for that.
So we gave Sun King a voice. Now let's add some context to that voice.
So we did an analysis of the current posts that Sun King is doing right now. So just out of a 50 post analysis, 78% of it is event type content, so it's banners, it's what you're doing. But we want to know who you are as Sun King. So we propose your content mix drastically change. So we're going to cut that number 78 to 20%. Here we have 3 terms you might not be familiar with: Hero, Hub, and Help. Hero is the events, what Sun King's been pushing right now all the time. We want Hub and Help to take centerfold in what you're doing. So Hub is the everyday life of Sun King, your personality and your voice. Help is adding value to customers. Why are they coming to your social media? Maybe they want to learn something about beer or what they can do with it. So I'm going to give you some examples following what you can use. So hero content, this is directly off of Sun King's page because they're doing excellent in this. It looks like that they were partnering with the Indianapolis Indians, and you can get the beer there. So across the platforms, that's great. Next is the hub content. So this is what our ideas would be. So showcasing more of maybe the food that can be paired with the beer itself. Showing it in the grocery stores and how they can get it, and also showing the daily life at the brewery. Lastly is the help content. So we had to get a little innovative. If you can tell, that is a YouTube video that is currently on Sun King's YouTube channel. It's one of the best videos and it's instructional. We propose that maybe you do something like this on Instagram TV. Also on your Facebook, maybe implementing recipes for Sun King. And lastly on Twitter, engaging with your customers through text-based responses. These are help content.
All right, So here is a Sun King mood board. Now this is directed mainly for Instagram because we know that Instagram is a platform that has the highest potential for growth for Sun King and for many other businesses. So I'm just going to run you through these examples of posts. So on the top right here, we have a photo of Sun King beer with some text overlaid. Now we notice that when you guys post about events, it's mainly a blank color with text just overlaid on top. That doesn't really incite a lot of engagement from your customers and your followers, and we think that using images with text overlaid is a lot better for driving engagement. Secondly, we want you to feature your customers. After all, they are the lifeblood of Sun King, so why not show them off to everyone else? Thirdly, showcase the different locations because some people might not even know that you have more than one location, and so that is great to show off. And finally, tell Sun King's story. You guys have founders and they're great guys and that's an awesome story, so why not share that with everyone else and give them just another reason to follow you or go there and buy a beer.
So now that Sun King has this brand new look, what was the one thing that you could tell really drew it all together? It was the face of Sun King, your employees. What's most important? Who would you rather get a beer with? A stranger or your friend Dan there or Bob there that is having fun with his beer? You want to get a drink with your friends. You want to know the employees. So what we propose also, an Instagram story takeover. They take over Sun King's account and say, hey, look at what we're doing at Sun King. Look at all this fun we're having. That is going to get you one of your most liked posts. So as you can tell, let's get all of your posts up to this kind of like potential.
All right, so we talked about your employees, but you guys also have a big impact on your community. So we want to repost more user-generated content. The more user-generated content that you guys repost, there will just be more user-generated content to be produced because they just want to be reshared from you guys.
Awesome, thank you, Jeff. And just to touch on that for a little bit more, for every great and essential thing that we bring up, there's always two sides. And we look at this and we look at the legalities behind it. We look at, is this something that we're constantly monitoring for somebody who's underage, or are they abusing the alcohol in some kind of way? Obviously, that kind of stuff has to be removed, but other than that, everything else is just free publicity for you guys. Everything else is going to be shared reposted on other social media pages, your social media pages, and this is all going to contribute to a much larger social media presence in the end. After doing, going off of that, after doing a little bit of a social media audit and looking at some of the most engaging posts that you guys have, as well as one of your competitors, Three Floyds, just to delve right into your most engaging posts.
We can't touch Dark Lord. We just can't. But anyway, keep going.
You might,
not until you hear our idea. Yeah. So Sun King Brewing, obviously both of these have in common is the community, the trends, your bread and butter, your Sunlight Cream Ale, showing the trends of the 10-year process of that can, and also the 10-year challenge, which was super trendy for a good couple months. And looking at this Twitter post here, what is it? It's the community. It's what we've been talking about this entire time. The 2018 annual giving back to the Indianapolis community, showing the numbers and enriching the lives of many. And this is something that is really engaging not only on Twitter but also on other pages as well. Now, just to touch on Dark Lord's Day for a little bit, I think this is one of the big ideas that kind of sparked our inspiration for our Mama Stay Day, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit. Dark Lord's Day obviously is massive. The entire state of Indiana gets up to go get a Dark Lord beer on May 18th. For us, we're from Kalamazoo. We know that Bell's Oberon Day. Everybody and their grandma, everybody and their mama, they get up out of the seat and they go into Bell's. They go to a bar, they get an Oberon. And that's something that we want to incorporate with Sun King.
All right, we got content, we got voice. We're going to make that beautiful baby opportunity.
Awesome, thank you. So just like he said, the marketing opportunity, we're going to be creating a yoga beer. So this yoga beer can double as a community-oriented beer event. It doubles as a promotion for you guys on social media, and it's something that is really encouraging towards the female market, the younger market, whether it's male, female, and you can post this on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc. Something that we're going to be delving into deeper on this next slide. So Mama Stay, here it is. This is our big idea that we have for you guys and the impact. We are introducing a light beer, a light lager that symbolizes health, quality, and fitness. Just about everything that you can think about when you think of yoga. It is serenity. It's something that you drink when you do yoga. It's it's something that's intertwined with yoga. When you think of yoga, people are going to be thinking about Mama Stay. This is something that invites younger audiences, and we want to unite all generations. So when we talk about millennials, this is something that's going to get them out of their seats, come to that brewery, and be excited. So Mama Stay Day, just like we were talking about with Dark Lord's Day, I think this is the one thing that's going to make you rivals, and we hope so. Just to delve into it, June 21st is International Yoga Day. It's coming up in a little bit, but this is something that's going to happen annually. Not only is Mama Stay Day going to happen, not only are you going to make those ad campaigns for this year, but you're going to make it for years to come, 2020, 2021, 2022, and it's only going to get bigger from there. Obviously, with Mama Stay, it's kind of inherent that you think that moms are the main target market, which is true, but also I think that we follow, we really want to target the family atmosphere, whether it's bringing in your kids for an event as well, or whether it's bringing your boyfriend if you're younger, if you're a millennial. We think that this is a very brand building or community building event that is going to be staying around for years to come. And just to continue with that, I think that we have another great idea for millennials, and that is College Thursdays at Sun King. And what is this about? Well, we think that this is a great idea because after doing some research, we see that 60% of the users on Instagram are between the ages of 18 and 29. We think this is a fantastic opportunity for you guys to target Instagram stories and also Snapchat stories. So, what's going to happen on Thursdays? So every Thursday from 8 p.m. to midnight, we're going to be implementing a strategy where if you take, if there's a millennial that walks in every millennial has Snapchat and Instagram. If they post a story on Snapchat or Instagram, share it with their friends, and use the geo filter, obviously you guys are going to be able to check right then and there because they're going to show you what kind of posts they're putting up. You can check right then and there if it's not abusive and if they're over age. If it fits those two, they're good to go. They get a $2 Sun King beer. This may be a loss leader for you guys, but this is something that's going to drive more traffic to you guys, not just on Thursdays. Allow them to drink more beer, enjoy a better experience at Sun King on Thursdays. This is something that's going to boost a lot of awareness for you guys and ultimately lead to more recommendations. 5 minutes? Mm-hmm. Awesome. So going hand in hand with all of that, how are we going to promote this stuff? How are we going to reach new audiences? How are we going to preach this new awareness? Influencer marketing. So just a little pie chart, a couple of pie charts that we have on the side here. 60% of influencers and 90% of marketers agree that Instagram is the best platform to use when it comes to for influencers. And this next slide here is going to talk about some of the influencers that we've seen within the Midwest region that are really going to make an impact, not only in the beer community, but also the yoga community. So the first three here that we have, Hop Smash, Drinking Craft, A Girl Race Beer, all in the beer community, all within the Midwest region, all have high following on Twitter, on Instagram, and we think that bringing them out, sponsoring an event, them being able to see Sun King and truly give out their experience is going to make a huge impact on their followers and get them to switch over from Fleet Floyd's over to Sun King Brewing. These last two down here, Bo Obsessed and Lizette John, both yoga instructors, enthusiasts. They love yoga, everything about it, and I think they would be the perfect influencers to choose for a Mama Stay event. Mama Stay Day, whether it's the ad campaigns leading up or the actual event, we believe that this is influential.
All right, plan of action. How are we going to make it happen? So we suggest that you hire 3 people: web design, graphic design, and social media manager. Social media manager will write captions, create posts, and monitor those posts. You can use Meltwater to see the amount of who's talking about Sun King. Graphic design, create event materials, color schemes, create the can for Mama's Day using Adobe Creative Suite, Photoshop, Canva, and then website management, SEO, boosting that yoga search on Google Analytics, and checking that traffic that goes to your website. Now, key metrics. You implement this idea today. Engagement rate goes up 2%. Twitter, Facebook, 8% Instagram, right? Audience growth, 20%. Rain those flowers. Grow it. More user-generated content. Outrageous amounts of user-generated content.
Awesome, thank you, Jeff. And just to wrap things up for this entire presentation, we have an executive summary talking about some of the results, how we got those numbers, but I think the real slide that we really want to pound down on is this next slide right here. And this is the slide that we already showed you. It's about Sun King success. And how do we get there? We said these terms at the very beginning and you guys didn't even know what they were. Now that we've gone through this entire presentation, we just want to go back and reiterate. how we're going to get that Sun King success. So we do have we're building a unique community, a brand community with the yoga, with everything else. The brand image, what are we seeing with the brand image right now? How can we change it? How can we evolve? Just looking a little bit deeper into the unique community where we have the Mama Stay Day, we have the college nights that we're implementing, and we have the influencers to back that up, to bring the awareness up. Not only bring the awareness up, but keep the awareness at that level. Now when we're talking about the brand image, we've talked about the Hero Hub Health, reinvigorating, rediscovering a new way to make content on all of your social media platforms, not just Instagram, not just Twitter, not just Facebook, not just YouTube. And then also, obviously, a very critical response plan. How are you going to respond to your followers? How are you going to respond to the hate? Is it a troll? Is it an internet troll that is saying some random things? How are you going to address that? So there's many different ways, and every single point that we brought up today is essential to your success. And with that being said, do you guys have any questions? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. So that College Thursday night that you brought up is illegal in Indiana to discount beer like that.
Illegal.
So if it wasn't a $2 beer, what would be your next recommendation for a way to bring people into the brewery at that age group?
It's illegal to discount all.
So it has to be, if you're
There's
going to
no
do a
happy
discount,
hour.
yeah.
It has to be an all-day thing and it has
For
to be
everybody.
for everybody.
So
You can't single out a college student, you can't give it, I mean, if she walks in, I have to give it to her, I have to give it to her, I have to give it to you, I have to give it to you. It can't be just one group. We can't incentivize.
Right.
either.
So what would you recommend instead of that?
I think for me, one idea that comes to mind is, instead of raising the price for beers, it'd be free merchandise, whether it's a free koozie, a free shirt. It's something that's, a dime a dollar for you guys to make, and I think that could make a major impact, whether they're wearing Sun King and at their college or whether they're at their job. I think that can make an impact in terms of the influence.
And I think that Mama's Day Day and Mama's Day itself is enough of an idea that it will bring in more millennials. So just that in and of itself, if you just get rid of the whole other idea, that will definitely boost your growth and your following and people coming in as well.
So even though that Mom's Day Day seems like it's geared towards women via the name, you think it would attract millennials because it's yoga?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Just want to clarify that.
I guess you were not concerned at all that it would only single out moms.
No, actually, it's funny. We just the last presentation we did, we had a kind gentleman up here who said that he didn't even, he thought that it was funny. He would go because it's called Mama's Day Day, or a Mama's Day beer.
And we know that you guys have other beers that have mom in them, and we thought that was pretty funny and sort of wanted to go off of that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's not where my brain went. Go ahead.
No. You can shoot. Go ahead.
So one of the things that you guys touched on is showcasing our employees. We are starting to do that with our 10-year anniversary being this year, where we're on Tuesdays, except for not this past Tuesday, the Tuesday before, because we'll campaign that came out. You mentioned the Instagram takeovers. We've done it before, and it did not work well. And one of the reasons why it did not work well is we have to abide by certain laws and regulations that the TTV and the ATC give us, where I still had to have each one of these individuals send me their picture before it was even posted, and it ended up it just didn't end up working out. So if I were to do that, what other suggestion would you have for me with engaging employees and getting them to buy in and do some fun things like this?
I mean, I know that you have a bartender, Steven, who's really active on Twitter. I don't know if he still works there or not, but I know that he tweets at Sun King a lot, and sometimes he gets some engagement on his tweets.
Okay.
But other than that, maybe do an employee going live on Instagram TV. I know that is a very fast growing area of Instagram, and that way it could still be in the moment versus you having to review it and then post it later. It doesn't feel as natural. So maybe if it's something like live, that it would feel a lot more natural and people would be more inclined to tune in. And you could even do, hey, tune in to our employee Bob, who's going to talk and show you what he's doing, and then if you watch to the end, we're going to give away a t-shirt or something like that.
Also Facebook Live.
Yep.
Was influencers your only paid strategy?
believe so. We've discussed Facebook ad.
Yeah,
Facebook
we would suggest Facebook advertising as an avenue for pushing Mama's Day because that's how you're going to reach the target market that we put at the beginning. Those are actually what you can do is upload like your email list or your current customer base, and Facebook will generate a lookalike audience, and you can create a campaign based off of that, and that's what we would suggest based off of what kind of money you have to put into
Because I'm
that.
confused how, like, dance aside, how you get those big engagement numbers without new people seeing your posts. And with algorithms, I don't know that that's realistic. Do you think it is?
Well, we would update the content structure, so the Hero Hub and Help, that helps a lot to generate more interest and more people. I know that you said we couldn't do the college night, but that would have,
We can, we just can't do $2 beers for college students.
Okay, so you could do,
yeah,
if you did
you
a
could do
if
something
you did a
else.
variation of it, there was a statistic that it said millennials typically tend to go off of what their friends prefer. So if their friends are posting this on their Snapchat story, their Instagram story, they're gonna look at that and say, hey, that looks fun, I wanna go there. Or maybe they'll not go that far, but they'll follow Sun King on Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat if you guys have that.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.